So I've been chopping boots in half for just over 2 years now. And so I thought it'd be a good idea, like we did last year, do a compilation of the top 5 boots that we've cut apart or reviewed on this channel through some various categories, because we cut apart a lot of boots. I don't even know how many we've cut apart, but we'll add it up and put the total right here. And we did a similar video to this last year, and I'll put a link in the description. And at the time, we were at 280,000 subscribers. Now we're at 440,000 subscribers, which is crazy. So thank you guys so much for your support. I never thought that I'd be doing a channel cutting boots and shoes in half, and it'd be my job. So thank you guys so much. And we have some really cool ideas coming up for 2022. I want to start doing some more material testing, do some more ridiculous stuff, do some designer stuff. I think it's gonna be a really good year. So thank you guys. And if you're not subscribed, just push that subscribe button. It's free and it's the easiest way to support the channel. On YouTube, barely shows you what you're subscribed to anyway. If you're like me, you didn't really notice your hairline starting to slip back a little bit until someone took a photo of you at just the right angle and you look bald. Well, that's because 2 out of 3 men experience hair loss by the time they're 35. But that's where Keeps comes in. Keeps is a subscription service that helps men keep their hair. They offer clinically proven treatments to combat symptoms of hair loss. And the nice thing is Keeps is delivered straight to your door, so you don't have to run out to the pharmacy every few weeks to get a refill. And speaking of pharmacies, Keeps is really affordable. They're typically half the price of pharmacy prices, and all the treatment plans are personalized and doctor recommended. One of the best things about Keeps is they have 24/7 care and support. So not only do they have a network of experienced medical advisors, prescribers, and care specialists, but each treatment plan comes with a full year of unlimited messaging so that you can connect to your prescribing doctor at any time about anything. And the thing about hair care is consistency is key. And so with Keeps, you get the refill reminders and delivered straight to your door, so you never run low on your products to take care of your hair. So if you have any worries at all about your hair loss, be sure to check out Keeps, because hair loss stops with Keeps. And to get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/roseanvil or click the link in the description, and that's keeps.com/roseanvil. And thanks again to Keeps for sponsoring this video. So now let's get to the best boots, and let's quickly go over the categories. The first category is best value, basically the best bang for your buck. And if you don't know what value means, here is the equation for value. Value equals quality over cost. The next category is best budget. Like if you have less than $125 to spend on a pair of boots, what boot should you get that's going to balance durability, style, and value and price? Next category is best quality. Basically the overall, what is the best uncompromising, least corners cut boot that we've cut apart for the year. Next up is best overall built. And then finally, what I wear most. And I thought this would be kind of an interesting one to see really what boots did I choose to wear on a daily basis the most over the last year. And then we're gonna do a bonus little category too, basically just a few boots that I've been really drooling over that I really wanna buy. So now let's start with best value, and it's going to be not a specific boot, but a group of boot companies, because the Indonesian boot makers like Segara, like I have with these boots here that we did the Cordovan cleaning video on, these boots have slowly become the best value for high quality boots that you can buy. There's a ton of different brands, and they make some of the finest boots in the entire world for half the price of where you could get them anywhere else. And they use really high quality materials. They use like Horween leathers, they use Shinki leathers. It's not just these cheap leathers that they're getting from Indonesia. There's a ton of high quality stuff being imported in to make these boots in Indonesia. And the way they make these boots, they're a lot more handcrafted than you might expect. A lot of it's hand sewn, a lot of it's hand cut. And because of that, you get a little bit finer precision on everything, but you also get a little bit more of that handmade touch and feel to the boots. It just, to me at least, it means more when someone hand welts something, or when something's a little bit more hand done rather than a machine that does it. And you can just see the quality and the finishing techniques on this pair of Trailmasters from Segara. They're absolutely stunning. And Segara is not the only brand that's making this high quality of boots in Indonesia. There's Onderhoud, there's Benzene, there's Segara obviously, there's Texture, there's Junkard, there's Renev Goods, there's Santalum. All the names are so hard for me. But what are the cons with an Indonesian brand? Well, you're gonna have to wait a few months to get your boots. It takes quite a while for them to go through the ordering process, the design process, and the making and shipping. I think it took like 4 to 6 months to get these boots to the shop. And you also can't just go to a local Red Wing store to find your size and then order them. It's a little bit of a gamble on knowing if the boots are actually going to fit. But the nice thing is, at least in my experience, they're really good at communicating back and forth. You can ask them as many questions as you want, and they can recommend what's going to be best for you. And I've been really impressed with them. And if you want more information on this, StrideWatch has a really good video. It's a 15-minute video going through all those brands I just mentioned and all the details. It's a really good watch. So I'll put that in the description and also put links to all the boots and everything in the description as well. And then next to best budget boot, and this one might be a bit of a surprise, but I'm going with the Rock Roosters. You know, you might be thinking Jim Greens because they are a really good budget boot. We did them last year though. And there's some unique stuff happening with Rock Rooster. They just recently upgraded this 2-piece outsole that I wasn't a huge fan of to a single piece Vibram wedge outsole. And these boots are $110 and you get a real Goodyear welt construction that's actually leather. The leather upper's decent leather. It's a tumbled, it's a nice soft, supple leather that breaks in pretty quickly. And for $110, especially with the new Vibram outsole, it's a little bit of a gamble because you just don't know. The quality control can kind of be here and there, but for $110, you're getting a pretty solid boot for a really affordable price. So what are the cons with the Rock Rooster boot that you need to consider before buying them? Well, the insides are all synthetic and a little bit loose and floppy, so they're not gonna give you that same imprint and that durability that you're gonna get from a leather insole. And one con that matters to some people is that these are made in China, and the reason you can get that price down to $110 is because they're made in China. So it's a trade-off either way. Once again, depends on what you value. Some people don't care, some people care. And I haven't cut apart their new version with the Vibram outsole, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know, and maybe we'll do a quick video, just chop it in half to compare the old Rock Roosters to the new Rock Roosters. So let me know. Next is best overall quality. What was the boot that was the most uncompromising in every single way, as close to perfection as possible? It's not a boot, it's a shoe by Crown Northampton. These Harleston hand-stitched line from Crown Northampton, they're absolutely ridiculous. Every single component that you could upgrade into a more premium material, they've done. You know, even the counter is a solid piece of oak bark tan leather in a sneaker, which is wild. But the toe stiffener is oak bark tan leather as well. And these are the components that you would never ever see unless you literally cut one in half or tore it apart like we did in this video. And you've got this super thick insole that's gonna shape to the shape of your foot. You've got the cork filling that you usually only see in dress shoes and higher quality boots. Everything in this shoe is about as premium as you can get it. They don't cut any corners. There's no subpar materials. The construction's really nice. They've got a good heel counter, French binding. These things are absolutely ridiculous. And one thing I really like is they use a lot of unique leathers. This is like the French calf. They also use buffalo, Scottish deer, veg tan calf, and of course cordovan. And as far as I've seen, it's the most uncompromising sneaker in the world. But what are the cons with this boot? Well, they start at $450 and go all the way up to $900 plus for the cordovan ones. So you definitely are paying a lot for perfection. And the second con that got brought up in the comment section is that they're just not everyone's style. They're a very basic, simple style. And for $450 to $900, if you don't love the style, it's a pretty penny to spend on a pair of shoes you don't love. But I think they're cool. I like the look of them. But if you want a full breakdown of these shoes, and where I go literally layer by layer through the shoe, tearing it apart, going through what every single material is and why they chose it, I'll put a link to that below and also put a link to these shoes below. Next up is best overall built. And instead of choosing one shoe or one brand, I just consider all the Pacific Northwest boots and their brands like Westco Whites and Nicks predominantly, to me, are by far the best built and most durable boots in the entire world. Are they the most finely finished boots in the entire world? Is every single stitch perfect? No, but it's because they're a work boot and they're made to be the most hardworking, the most durable, the most heavy duty boots that money can buy. And I think the reason that they're not the finest finished boots in the world, but the hardest working boots in the world, is because of the history of these boot brands in the Pacific Northwest. Because the Pacific Northwest was a huge logging mecca all through the early 1900s, and all these boot brands sprung up to meet the demand of the loggers. And so they built these boots that were made to the ultimate degree of durability. And over the years, logging slowly was phased out of the Pacific Northwest, and then they pivoted to being more of a firefighting boot company. So when I was a firefighter, these brands were the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis of the firefighting world. You wanted a pair of these boots because they were so nice. And then now, more recently, they've all started pivoting more towards a stylish brand, like a high quality heritage brand, and somehow they've made it all the way through all those transitions and are still alive today, which is really cool. And that's why you can almost only get this high quality of a boot manufacturer if they started making heavy duty work boots. Because there's a lot of brands that have sprung up in the last 10 years that make good looking boots that are heavy duty, but they don't have the heritage of construction techniques, materials, the decades and decades of wear and tear and research and development and getting feedback and resoling the boots over and over again to get this refined and perfected version of a work boot. So that's why a lot of people consider the Whites and Westco and Nicks in the Pacific Northwest to be the most durable boots in the world. And to me, I think they're a national treasure. I'm so glad that they've stuck around because they're this link to the past of what American manufacturing and handmade goods used to be. So they're a national treasure.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
And if you want some more information on the whole history of these and where they all started and how it all unfolded, be sure to check out the Stitch Down Shoecast podcast episode where they go through all this. It's like an hour long of just every detail you'd want to know about these brands and how they all connect and all. It's really good. So I'll put that in the description and links to these boots as well. And then finally to what I wore most over the last year. And this is a fun one to me because I didn't consciously choose certain boots over others. It just ended up, I'd come into the shop like, oh, what do I feel like wearing today? This one. Oh, what do I need this? I did this one. So it's kind of this me choosing my favorite boots without me thinking too much about it. So the first one that I wear the most is the Lems Boulder boots. And these are like my go-to comfy boots. If I've been breaking in a pair of boots and my arches are killing me, or if I went on a weekend hunt and I completely wrecked my feet from hiking around, I always throw these on because they've got that really wide toe box to let my toes spread out. It has a zero drop, so my calves can stretch back out. My Achilles tendon can stretch back out, because if you're wearing these higher heeled boots, you really start to wear your calf out if you wear them too much. And they're just nice to throw on and be able to relax and not have that pressure around your feet. They're basically my recovery boots, and people always make fun of me for calling boots recovery boots. But when you break in tons of boots and you're always hiking in them and wearing them all the time, you need a pair of recovery boots. And the Lems are my go-to. The next pair really surprised me too is the Wolverine 1,000 Mile Rawlings collaboration. I wear these partly because I love the way they look and I love the collab, and I just love these boots. But also this last fits my foot really, really well. It's just a really comfortable last for this heritage style. It doesn't squish my toes as much. My foot's not swimming around in it. It just fits me really well. So when I'm wanting a comfortable boot that I don't want to spend 5 minutes lacing up, that's a good looking boot, I usually lean towards these for whatever reason. And really the only thing I don't like about these, and the leather sole is kind of obnoxious sometimes because you can slip around, but this boot's not very well balanced. Even when I got it, this heel was lifted up a little bit. So there's a little bit of a high pressure point right at the forefront of your heel because they didn't balance this boot correctly. So that's kind of obnoxious, but I do like these boots a lot. And then the third pair that I catch myself wearing a ridiculous amount is this pair of whites that I designed and had them made 6 months ago or so. And I got them and I really liked them, but I wanted just a little bit higher heel, so I added just a little bit of a heel lift in it. And that's probably part of why I love them so much, is because I did a little bit of the work, a tiny fraction of the work. But I like these because they have a little bit of a cowboy look to them and a style without being overtly cowboy with big paisleys on things and like a really pointy toe. It just is a very subtle Packer boot or a cowboy inspired boot. And as for wearing them, I enjoy wearing them because they're really comfortable. They have a ton of arch support, and I feel good wearing them. You know, they're a boot that I love to wear because I like the way I look in them, and that's almost as important as the comfortability. So when you have a boot that combines both of them, you end up wearing them a lot. And I'm trying to convince the guys at White's to do a collaboration on this boot. There's a few little details I want to add to change to these boots because I love them so much. I know it's kind of gross to be like, oh, these are my favorite boots, and I might be doing a collab on them, but I love them. So I don't know, we might be doing a collab. So if you're interested in something like this, I'll put a link to the limited edition email list below so you can stay in the loop of if we end up doing this collab. I really like these boots. And then to the bonus category, my dream boots. And I want to do this one just because there's a lot of boots out there that I really want that are hard to get or I just can't afford or whatever. And so it's just fun to dream. So 3 quick boots that I really want. Roll Club Underdogs. I love Brian the Bootmaker. I've learned so much from his channel, and he makes a mighty fine boot. And I really, really want a pair of his Underdogs. They're really pretty. Next dream boot is the Black Bear brand laced toe. I love the rough out leather. It's a really raw looking boot, and they've dropped the heel a little bit. And the Black Bear brand is every dude's aspirational identity. The dude's a cool dude. I've never actually talked to him, but I like what he makes, I like his style, and I like those boots. And then the third dream boot, I really want a nice looking hole cut boot that doesn't look exactly like a dress boot. And there's a few of them out there. Viberg makes a really nice hole cut boot on occasion. And there's a brand called Zonky that makes a really unique looking hole cut boot. They use some really cool leathers. And I just like the idea of basically just having a leather sock around your foot because of the way it would roll and fold and slowly patina over time. I really want a hole cut boot. So that's the 3 dream boots, and that's the 5 categories of the top 5 boots of 2022. And let me know in the comment section what your favorite boot is. And it's not necessarily a way to just drive traffic and engagement. I'm actually curious what your favorite boots are and what you would have chose for certain categories and what you think I got wrong, because I love going through the comments to see what everyone thinks. And thank you guys so much for helping this channel. It's been really, really fun doing this channel. Like I said earlier, I never thought that I would be cutting boots in half on YouTube, but here we are, and I love it. So thank you guys so much. And 2022 is gonna be crazy. I'm so excited for it. So thank you guys. See ya.